What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? We back. We back. We back. We back. We black. What
Hey,
up, y'all?
what's happening, man? What's
Glad,
good, bro?
glad to see y'all amongst the land of the living, like my
Man,
grandmother used to say.
indeed, man. It's good. It's,
That
it's good to be back.
Hey
hey,
y'all,
that sickness had us down bad, boy.
man, listen. It was
You doing all
crucial.
right, Celeste? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. I'm back.
That's what's up,
Y'all felt like Viserys' back looked.
man. Look, bro. Last week was one of them weeks, man. It just was. I don't know, man. It was just that needed some of that makes the all wild, dog. Needed some some of that good ginger ale, ginger of the ale.
We
So
missed people.
we still got a couple stragglers. You know, Leslie he probably partnered up in the A. You know,
uh,
Jackson State was down there, so he
yeah,
probably doing him. He doing nigga shit.
yeah. He probably at the celebration bowl. I, 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 I Valerian, the light skinned dread. He probably, uh, taking his week off too. So ain't no
But
telling.
hey, in the comments we got Keisha Zuri Johnson. She says she literally just got over bronchitis. God bless you. Glad
Oh, you
we
know
had
what?
you on the sick and shut in list. So glad you here with us.
You know what? I think Jamila wanted to join us tonight. This might be a good night for her to pull up.
All right. Well, look, I'm gonna send her the invite. Jamila, you ready to come on? We'll get to her in a minute. So we back. we got we doing episodes what 5 and 6 of season 1, and we got a lot to talk about. So
Yeah.
Warrior Queen of the building, mother of the sweet son of Cheerings. They sound like they bad.
Well, they are what they are. So
What's happening, sir? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm glad everybody's feeling better this week.
Yeah, we trying to bounce back. We trying to bounce back. So yeah, we feeling a lot better. And
Okay.
we got a couple of episodes to get into tonight. And I will say this is gonna be a marathon. I mean, it's been fun though. Like, you know, checking
Mhm.
out some of the old episodes. So tonight we covering episodes 5 and 6. And
Yes.
yeah, I mean, we can really kind of get right into it. Celeste, you want to kind of set up the table? You want me to? Yeah, I put you on the spot. Yeah, I put you on the spot. I put you on the spot. Look, I'll say this: the episode 5 begins, and essentially, uh, the first thing that Ned is trying to do is figure out um, where John Aaron Squire being the one who fought the mountain in the joust the last episode and got stabbed in his neck. Uh, you want to know where did John Aaron Squire get new armor from, and how could he afford it when he
Mhm.
was just a squire a few weeks ago? And so we find ourselves with Ned in the course of that investigation there, and obviously Ned is digging deeper into this as John Aaron was, and while he doesn't know that the digging is what led to Jon Arryn's death. We know it. We're aware at this point that the digging has led to that. And so that sets the stage for where we are right now. And they walk into the room and Ned greets Robert Baratheon, and Robert is trying to put on his armor, and Robert is too fat for his armor. What's going on?
Fat as a motherfucker, dog.
You know what I mean? Like, so he a little too thick for his armor, and that's kind of foreshadowing. So that's where we are right now with the set of things. The investigation is taking place. Robert is too big for his armor, and so boom, scene. Let's get into it.
Ned was like, "Look at that front wagon you dragging, cuz you doing too much."
Right. Like, this is where we learn that we learn that Jon Arryn is the one who recommended Cersei, and we kind of get some background in this conversation between Ned and Robert at this time. So
don't be shy. Look, we gonna start with Jamila.
We need to introduce everybody tonight.
Yeah.
Hi, what's going on, y'all? Jamila.
What's that, nigga?
I've been acting up with y'all in the comments mostly, but I wanted to come and cut up with y'all in real time this evening. That's how I wanted to spend my evening today. So thank you for the invite and the re-invite, and I'm glad everybody's feeling better.
Oh yeah.
Can y'all can hear me, right?
Thank you. Hey, look, I'm trying to I'm trying to unmute my shit. Like, I'm gonna tell you what it is. It's like when Michael Jackson was at the MTV Awards that year, and his moonwalk wasn't quite moonwalking like he used to just yet. I'm still trying to get my motherfucking rhythm back right now. I'm working on my pop lock and shit. Like, you know what I mean? So, I feel like I have it give me about 5 more minutes. I'll be back in the game. So.
All right, we'll check back in 5.
Yeah, shit. Listen, I'm still drunk from last night, so I'm at about a 5 fucking right now. So y'all niggas got to forgive me. I ain't gonna be sharp.
This the hangover episode.
So I wasn't gonna tell my business, but we probably in the same boat.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what it's like. It's like when you study for a test and then the teacher don't give the test for whatever reason. Maybe a substitute come in, and then the next week come and you studied for the motherfucker last week. So you was like, I'm cool. I ain't gonna study for this motherfucker again because I did study. And then the test come and you be like, God damn, soon as you see the first question. That's that I know that motherfucker now. I saw it, but that shit was a long time ago. Nigga. You don't realize how long ago a fucking week is until you fucking try to remember some shit from a week ago.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right, y'all. So rewinding it, we back in it. Look, this nigga Ned is investigating what the fuck is going on. Right. And he's even more suspicious than he was before because Jon Arryn's squire has new armor. And he like, what this motherfucking squire got new armor for? And suddenly also he was named whatever, a knight,
right? Like he was knighted. Yeah.
So how did he go from a squire to a knight with brand new armor? That's some nouveau riche shit.
Right. So help a nigga out, y'all. God damn it. I'm trying to prompt y'all motherfuckers to start talking. Goddamn.
All right, no.
You already know what it is. They were alluding to the fact that Jon Arryn gave him some money, you know what I'm saying, for slipping somebody some substances.
Facts. So
for one, we have to shout out the Silent Sisters again. Them motherfuckers were working. All right. Like y'all see, they showed up, they ain't say shit. They was just like, all right, then, and Ned gave him a little appreciate y'all type shit at the end when he was walking out the little camp joint. So I appreciate that scene because I'm always like pro Silent Sisters. And but the whole thing just reeked of like corruption, right? And it was like, okay, well, this was an inside job. Who had access to Jon Arryn was the squire, and he was the one who probably poisoned him, who gave him the poison, and it was probably the person who paid for all this new armor and for all this shit. So So he's starting to put he's starting to put two and two together, but he still doesn't know who that mystery person who provided old buddy the armor in the new stuff. So
there was another thing he said that I found interesting, that, you know, as we have learned before with Game of Thrones, nothing is trash in terms of the dialogue. He also says to him, well, how did they pick who was going against the mountain? This was like a little dude. Why would they put him against the mountain? And the guy said, well, they pulled straws. And he's like, well, who's holding the straws? Yes. So he's also like, wait a minute. Like, this seemed like a setup. Like, they sent this boy in basically to die. Right. And there's a reason for that. And I thought that was interesting.
So they cleaning up loose ends at this point. You know what I mean?
Up that they are cleaning up their mess.
Right. So Ned, who we beat up quite a bit about being fucking gullible and, you know, a number of things. I mean, he's like, he's still 12 though. Like, that motherfucker is good at 12. It's like Law and Order of the Seven Kingdoms that we watching right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the beginning of the episode. Ice-T ain't arrived at the scene yet and shit. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, Stabler and the other motherfucker that he be with. So Benson. Right now, exactly, Stabler and Benson. There you go. So right now, we kind of get a sense that this is taking place. In addition to this going on, the tournament is still taking place, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not Sir Loras. Is it Sir Loras versus the Mountain this time?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we begin to hear, you know, essentially these allusions. We see Littlefinger making a bet against was it Lord Renly who he's making the bet with?
Yeah.
Right. So they're making a bet, and this is where we kind of get Littlefinger alludes to, because Lord Renly is saying that Littlefinger has no friends, and Littlefinger says to Lord Renly essentially, how is your friend doing? Right, like, I mean, what he says is, I mean, obviously a suggestion that they are more than just friends. And Lord Renly being Robert Baratheon's brother, and Littlefinger being was big House Tully? Is it Tully? No, he's from
the Riverlands, which is House Tully. Yeah.
Okay, so y'all fill me in there and talk about the significance of this banter back and forth and how it's going to come in later in this episode.
So Littlefinger is always playing the dozens. Okay, he always got that "your mama" thing retort back. Okay. So that's what you see going on between him and Renly, and when Loras gives was it Sansa the flower, because he's the Knight of the Flowers, right?
Right.
Just like in House of the Dragon, we had Sir Joffrey, who was Knight of the Kisses. Well, who the fuck was he kissing? So I mean, that's a story. So, you know, we got some more of that going on. And then Littlefinger is in Sansa's ear telling that story, right?
Right.
Yeah. Y'all with me? Okay. Telling her the story of the Hound and the Mountain, who are two brothers. So we're starting to get more and more characters. The universe is filling out. And so Loras is from House Tyrell, one of the richer houses, that's probably equal or surpasses the Lannisters as far as money and
they
power.
Make their money mostly on grain and weed and shit like that, I believe.
Yeah, because that's where they grow all the food.
Yep.
And so everybody needs them. Mm-hmm. And so we'll meet more of the House Tyrell coming on, because you're gonna meet the OG, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. So you've seen some, but you're gonna meet the OG of House Tyrell, and you're gonna know why that's the OG of House Tyrell.
OG is my favorite. Maybe one of my favorite characters of all time, obviously.
All the way.
So I mean, like, so you got this conversation taking place, right? And Night of the Flowers, and you know, he's going up against the mountain, and he doesn't appear to be afraid of the mountain at all.
Right.
In fact, when they go head to head, he winds up beating the mountain in the joust. Like after seeing the mountain kill someone, the mountain gets so angry that he winds up beheading his own horse in the fucking, like, that's one of the wildest scenes, by the way.
With one swipe.
Yes, like because he's that furious about losing. So can we talk about why that's significant, especially in this episode, and what it's going to lead to later down the road as far as this investigation is concerned?
So again, as Littlefinger is whispering that story to Sansa, it's about the mountain and the hound. So we've met the hound because he's got the scar on his face. So now we're meeting the hound's older brother, the mountain. And so he's telling a tale of how the hound became scarred when they were children, because he played with one of the mountain's toys, and the mountain was like, that's my toy, whether I'm playing with it or not, and pushed his face in the fire. So you just see, Sansa's face, like, blank out, kind of like, oh my God, what is, I've never heard anything like that in my life, because she's still that little girl who's having that princess, fantasy in her head. Mm-hmm. And then all of this goes on in front of her, and she's just like, what am I watching? What the fuck is going on? What? So somebody else jump in, please. I feel like I'm
so Littlefinger, one of the things, especially during this conversation with Renly, which I thought was important, is that Littlefinger's ultimate power is his knowledge, right? And so he essentially outs Renly. I mean, like, these motherfuckers are having an out loud conversation. So it was like to the point where it was just like, when Loras finally won and defeated the mountain, he essentially told us, the audience, that Renly was gay, right? I mean, like, which we kind of already knew based on like the kind of looks that Loras and Renly were giving each other. But he essentially had that last line in order to kind of crutch Renly, because obviously back in those times, I mean, like, if you were gay, even if you were a highborn, like, depending on, like, who you were and who that could be looked upon as a crime. So, and so he did that. And for Loras, Loras was smart enough to have a female horse. And so that basically put the mountain's horse in heat, and the mountain's horse, I guess, wasn't clipped. And so he fucked up, and that's why Mountain ended up.
I had a question about that because you saw Littlefinger bet, in favor of the mountain, right? But after the mountain lost, it almost seemed like Littlefinger already knew that Loras's horse was.
Like, he knew the trick,
and he was. Yeah, he knew he was going to win. Did he know he was going to win, or he just knew why he won?
He knew why he won. I don't think it was a knew he was going to win, because if there's one thing about Littlefinger, he don't play about his money, right? So if he's like, that nigga don't play about his money, right? That nigga's goldie about his money. I can't even lie.
Speak yourself, Tony.
He's a monster, baby.
That's my favorite golden
that nigga line. Big worm, bro. It's about the principality. So that's what so he saw that early, right? Because that was just a trick that they use, and and the mountain was just dumb enough to not have his horse's balls clipped.
Right.
His fault. Or get a female horse with his big ass.
We also see here, we know there's a history with the mountain and the hound, but we see them come to blows the first time. And I had actually forgotten about this fight. Right. So it's a little bit of foreshadowing that, to what's going to happen later in terms of the two of them clashing. But he comes to, the hound comes to Loras's aid when, in his anger about losing the mountain, then goes after this obviously smaller, weaker opponent after killing his horse. So then we see the mountain throw sort of like a hissy fit when the king basically tells them to shut it down. So that was
Yo,
That's
like,
Right,
like
and there's
glory.
a picture too that they got no loyalty to each other whatsoever. And, you know, when
Nah.
they
They're supposed to
called
be
for the
brothers.
fighting to stop, you saw what happened. You know, the
The
hound
hound, yeah,
bent the knee,
you know.
right? But the mountain just walked off. Like,
you know
That
what?
shit was like a cookout.
Which is a great point. I remember watching the first. I remember watching this the first time. I was like, wait a minute, these niggas brothers? Like, them two niggas brothers? And then like the Baratheons, I was like, wait, they brothers too? Them niggas trying to kill each other, bro. Like, I mean,
they
Renly and Stannis, like, bro, like I was like, wait, so these motherfuckers supposed to be brothers too, along with Robert. They the brother. None of them liked each other at all. You know, I mean, like,
Right.
and Robert admitted as much. He was like, Ned, you my brother before the other two motherfuckers.
Right. Them motherfuckers was really ready to kill each other right goddamn now that day.
But you know what though? Like, but that fight between the Mountain and the Hound, that shit was clean when the Hound kneeled after Robert said stop, stop that shit. And he fucking went down to the ground, he kneeled, and he kind of avoided the swing. I was like, God damn.
Right.
That shit was clean.
Because that motherfucker would. I mean, like, it was clear that he would,
He
if
put
he would
too
chop
much
his goddamn horse head off.
He put too much faith in the fucking king's word, nigga. I wouldn't kneel for shit.
right. I'm telling you right now, if I see somebody cut a horse in half, I'm just leaving the stadium.
Yeah, that's right. Game
Man, I need to share some of these comments real quick, man. Look, hold on. Cash App scamming Littlefinger. They say Littlefinger the biggest scammer. He like the folks ask, damn. So there's a lot of people feeling like that about Cash App. Hold on. The Cash App. Nobody picked up what Littlefinger was putting down. Oh shit. Littlefinger was quite obvious in what he was trying to say. Like he was
I'm
like,
telling
hey,
you, all of his coded language, if you're not paying attention, you know, it's going right over your head. But yeah, so if he's talking to you, he is speaking to you in a language that you will understand.
So after that, y'all, after Robert breaks up the fight, cuts to what's going on with Catelyn. The last time we saw Catelyn and Tyrion, she was taking him hostage under the belief that he was the one that put the hit out on Bran. And at that point in time, they are now they're on the King's Road?
No, they are on the road to the Vale.
Okay, they're on the road to the Vale. And go ahead, break it down.
Oh, okay. Please. So they get attacked by some of the hill tribes. So they're going up in these rocky mountains. And so they get attacked by the hill tribe. And everybody's trying to, defend. And, Tyrion's tied up. And I think Bronn saves him for the first time. So Bronn is still with the group. Okay. Bronn is with this group that's going to the Vale. So they picked him up at the end after Tyrion bought his room. And so we're starting to see their friendship kind of come together, or the beginnings of it.
Yeah.
And so the hill people are attacking, and Tyrion's rolling around. He's all tied up and everything. And then he looks at Catelyn and says, "Untie me. What am I going to do? Run? They're going to kill me anyway. Untie me." And so he gets untied, and he tries, to do some stuff. And he has a shield, and I think Bronn saves him, and then stabs whoever it was, and then they were still moving, and he took whatever shield it was and jabbed that thing in his face. I was like, okay. Tyrion got some.
Let me just
which
say
was,
something about that
which
whole
was
fight.
significant.
But he's like,
that was very significant. I see Jamila with her hand up. Wait, Khaleesiana, my bad. I see Khaleesiana with her hand up. Go ahead.
There was a lot of hilarious stuff that happened in that party. Like if you weren't watching, you would miss it. Like when they first cut to the scene and they were letting Tyrion down off the horse. Why they had a whole minstrel out there just singing a song about this little mother?
That whole
shit about him and she was getting down off the horse. I was like, hell no.
that whole fight
Tyrion was
scene
like,
was wild,
like
man.
right after he told Cat, looked at dead in the face, was like, I ain't no killer, right? They killed him. Killed him right in front of her. Like, oh my gosh,
Right.
this writing is wonderful.
Right. He really saved that motherfucking life though.
He did.
Mhm.
Right.
But
But
then was
you know
talking about
something though,
trying to
like
smash
Leslie,
afterwards, so that was crazy.
you was you know how you talked about the scene with the hound and how it was, you know, clean as hell when he kneeled and you know,
Yeah.
the mountain, you know, swung his axe and you know,
Mhm.
you get that scene, then you get to these niggas fighting. It looked like a scene from a Dolomite movie. You know, like, it was, bro. It was so. It was the choreography was terrible, dog.
Yo, like in the
Like
fucking way
professional
Tyrion
wrestling.
knocked him down with that fucking shield was comical. I was like, yo, this 3 foot fucking nothing nigga is gonna knock down a grown man with a fucking shit like, and he like went back like a fucking like he was on a trampoline or some shit. He jumped back. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, this nigga's a Tyler Perry stunt double. Goddamn it, Tyler Perry
You had to
Studios.
let him get some action.
He did ask Cat a significant question. He like, who the fuck? What the fuck type of person sends they goddamn own weapon to an assassination? Like who gonna arm? What kind of idiot will arm an assassin with their own blade? And that's the first time she really like looked at that shit like, okay, maybe
Tyrion was like, Tyrion said, am I starting to make sense? Like what? Like you telling me to shut the fuck up because am I starting to make sense to y'all? Y'all some slow motherfuckers? Like, am I the only one that's like not understanding what the fuck is going on?
Right.
Your sister's fucking nuts.
Right. Because that motherfucker is, I'm talking about. So we get right. So they finally get to the Vale. And before they get there, like they're met by the guards. I don't know what you call them, motherfuckers, down at the gate, and they like, you know, he kind of even contentious with Cat. Like, y'all motherfuckers ain't even supposed to be over here. Don't bring that little motherfucker up in here. You know what I mean?
You ain't saying no, you ain't seen no Raven. You ain't seen no goddamn email.
Right.
No text,
like, and so he ain't meeting them and greeting them with the type of hospitality that you know you would expect from one sister to another. But
so two small points. And so like before that, back when they were done with the fight, Bran was like, "This is your first kill." He was talking to Tyrion. He was like, you know, like and now you need a woman. Like there's nothing like a woman after a fight. And then Tyrion looked at Catelyn and he was like, I'm willing if she is.
Right. I'm like, this what we do?
I was like, my nigga, boy, that's my I like it.
And his mama said, "Cat little tight ass face" when he said that.
That nigga like looked at her up and down. He was like, "Oh shit! I mean, she got potential."
I'm just glad he say some shit like
the other,
you know,
one of the best
fucking we fucking.
One of the best script writing things that I applaud this show for was when they were pulling up to the Eyrie, and Tyrion was talking to Bran, and he was like, "The Eyrie, they say, is impregnable." And Bran was like, "Give me 10 good men and some climbing spikes. I'll impregnate."
He is straight comedy. He is straight comedy.
Right?
He says that shit.
As a writer, I couldn't have made up that shit. That's bravo.
Pure uncut.
That's bravo. Man. He said, "I will impregnate that bitch," and I believed him. And you know, because you start thinking about who Bran is. Even before during my initial watch, I was like, whoever this motherfucker is, he knows what he's in this world, right? He pays attention to his P's and Q's. He's very fucking aware about what's happening around him, and he's almost like us being inserted into this fucking crazy ass world full of just highborn ass white folks in the fucking medieval days, right?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you know, whatever.
It's all good. It's all good, man. I mean, shit, it is what it is. That's what the show about. And
can I say one more thing about just about this scene? So the name of the episode being The Wolf and the Lion. Okay. So this is a pairing of the wolf and the lion. Okay. The wolf being the sigil of House Stark, and the lion being the sigil of House Lannister. So you have Tyrion of House Lannister. You have Catelyn of House Stark. Okay. Traveling on the road together. All right. And there will be 2 other incidents. Can I talk about that?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay. So there were 3 incidences through the episode of the wolf and the lion together. Okay. So that's the first one, Catelyn and Tyrion. The second one was when Arya was chasing cats in the castle, and she went down into the
not to be confused with Catelyn Stark. She was chasing a real motherfucking cat. Like,
yeah, Arya was chasing actual animals as part of her training from Syrio Forel. Yeah.
Like, you know what though? I feel like that Syrio just like gave her that shit because he was probably like annoyed with the motherfucker. She was like, this motherfucker is talking my head off. It's like, motherfucker, go chase a cat, goddammit.
But it helped her out. She, you know, to her child's mind, it was like, oh yeah, cats are like that. They're always around and nobody knows they're there. So I'm gonna go chase the cats. And so she was chasing cats around the castle. And she went down. Thank you. You go chase the cat?
Not no more. I'm married.
Oh, okay.
Her chasing the cat was part of what helped them to get the drop on Ned like they did.
Why must you be like that? Why must you be like that?
Not no more, man. They got the most serious ass face on this.
Go ahead, mother of the sweet summer cheerings. We are sorry.
So as Arya is going down into the lower levels of the castle, chasing the actual feline animal, she hears people talking, and she hides in one of the big dragon heads. Well, she can't see nothing, but she hears people talking, and we recognize those voices because we see who's actually talking. And they are talking in code, and they say if the wolf and the lion go to war, you know, that will, you know, set up certain things here at the palace and, you know, kind of be a coup. And it's Lord Varys, and it's Illyrio from Pentos, who has been hosting Viserys and Dany, and got her married into. Okay, so that's the second time that we hear the wolf and the lion together as in their conversation. And of course, the third time comes at the end of the episode when there is a confrontation at Littlefinger's whole house, number 5. I don't know how many it got. And it's Jaime and Ned. So Jaime of House Lannister, the lion, Ned of House Stark, the wolf. And so that's 3 specific incidences of the wolf and the lion. So it carries throughout the episode for specific reasons. Okay. I'm done.
A good break. That's a good breakdown right there. That's good. That's good shit. Those are good observations. So we're gonna run it back a little bit.
That's it.
Bran was learning about the sigils. So she just broke down the sigils for you a little bit. They're having conversations about what the sigils and I don't know if you call them motherfucking shit, the mottos of
the words of their house. Yeah.
Right. And so those things are taking place. And family duty honor, I guess, is the Starks. Starks is?
No, the Starks of winter is coming.
Right.
Okay. So that's her. What's his mom's family duty honor? That's his mom's house. His mom's.
Yeah.
Okay. And he says, how can she protect the family if she's not with the family? And so Bran is upset. Right. Mm-hmm. So he's upset about that shit. It's just that's a small part. We could probably skip ahead. I mean,
I'm just like, shut the fuck up. I'm just like,
right.
I got a question though. I asked this before, and I still want to know the answer.
Okay.
Who watching that baby?
Man, look, man.
Who watching the baby? The baby.
Old man is telling more stories to little Rickon. and scaring his ass and making him
Fucking
stay in
Rick,
hide.
man.
That's what that is.
Puerto Rican is out in the
I
street
keep forgetting
somewhere
that
by
motherfucker
himself.
exists.
He like
Right.
little Nicky, man. He like little Nicky on the Fresh Prince. God damn it! Like you just forget. Like, oh, that motherfucker was on there. Like
Nigga.
Like
Nicky.
you
Oh, I
sure ain't
forgot
at
about that
home
little
watching
nigga,
these
man.
No,
movies
that
'cause
nigga is
you in
Judy.
class, the baby on his own.
He
Oh,
Judy.
the mama?
He
Judy
is
from
very.
Family Matters.
Yes, he's very much Judy from Family Matters, man.
Like on the fucking Fresh Prince reunion, they had like Nikki come out, and I was like, like okay,
Yes,
was he supposed to?
like
Okay, was he really supposed to be here? Like, all right,
yeah, like Nicky. Oh shit,
come on now.
forgot about your little motherfucking ass.
We got
But
Addie Mama from YouTube said Cat said fuck them kids.
Fuck.
That's been my motto for years.
Exactly. She couldn't stop.
So as was highlighted when Eyrie was chasing the cat, literally she discovers this plot that's taking place. She hears Varys and the other motherfucker talking, and right, and so why is this significant? When she overhears them talking,
Well,
and-
like it's significant because they're essentially saying that, you know, like Hand of the Kings are an expendable item, and so, you know, like who cares if another one dies, essentially, and that's all Arya really hears because she doesn't really know exactly what the other shit means as far as just the treason talk.
right,
You know, and them like kind of waiting their time until like Dothraki come overseas and shit like that and try to you know, and for the Targaryen lineage to take back the kingdoms, but she doesn't understand what they're talking about. She's just heard like basically the hand of the king, like another hand of the king can die too.
right.
And so that's all the information that she's given. So Ned kind of throws her off to the side a little bit because in his head he has more pressing shit to deal with.
At first, like he kind of so what was it? Varys said, "Delay, you say, move fast." I reply, "This is no longer a game for two players. It never was." So when she, like you said, Leslie, at first when she's trying to explain to Ned what's going on, he kind of disregards her.
Yeah.
But later, later he acknowledges, I guess it was the details that she shared, and I think I'm skipping ahead a little bit because I think didn't Littlefinger confront those guys at some point in there? Not necessarily confront, but he ran into them down there, right?
No, like so
No.
Littlefinger confronted
Varys.
Varys, and
Varys.
they had one of the fucking best like
Yes, that's the
battles
conversation.
of words in the fucking show.
That's what I want to get into.
Now, like I
but
said,
he
you
fight.
can't call that the dozens because, of course, Varys ain't got nothing to, you know. I mean,
That's right.
you can't call it a pissing contest, excuse me, because Varys ain't got no.
Oh, you ain't right. You ain't
So-
right at all.
So they were
Well,
in the
right.
they were in the Iron Throne room, right? They were in the room.
Correct.
Yeah,
like,
they
so
were
they
at-
were in the like so they were in the throne room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
So they are now that was a hot game of the dozens.
so let's talk about that. That's what I want to get into. All of the birds that whisper in your ear, Littlefinger suggests that Varys likes.
Like
He's and Varys rejects that.
Yeah,
he
Varys
like
is essentially asexual. Yeah.
Right. He like, I don't like no motherfucking body.
Right.
Like
Exactly. Which
and-
is kind of troubling to Littlefinger, right? Because this is the one motherfucker that he can't kind of figure out what his vices are. Because one thing
Right.
about Littlefinger is in the business of vices, and so you know, and he illustrates that when he talks about, well, you know, I provide anything to almost everybody, you know, and Varys is like, oh yeah, and I've heard such and such likes them quite young. I've heard that this lord likes motherfuckers with hands missing. I heard this lord likes dead like
Right.
fucking
You're like, I
shit.
bet that's hard to get, you know.
Yeah, Littlefinger's like, you know, well, you know, for the right price, we
We do what we do.
You know,
Right. And then he said, I heard you making essentially Littlefinger tells Varys that he heard him making some type of overture in some type of conversation, and Varys says back to him like, oh, that was you under the bed. Like,
Yeah.
like, oh motherfucker, I knew you were there. I knew somebody was there.
Yeah, so and so they both call out them essentially talking to Ned, right? And them putting words in Ned's ear and them basically like playing Ned like a fiddle because both of them are really trying to do it for, Varys a little less his self-interest. I think he's more for the realm, but Littlefinger definitely his fucking self-interest. And so they give him these little bits of information just to spoon feed him. And they both know that that each of them is spoon feeding Ned, and they call each other out. And now when and then Littlefinger seemingly hits him with the fucking coup d'etat when he calls him out about his meeting with Illyrio. Yeah. He says, "No, nigga, no, I heard, I heard, no, nigga, I heard." And then the shit was amazing because then at the very fucking end, when you think that, okay, Littlefinger has more knowledge than Varys hits him with, "Oh, you don't know what the fucking meeting is about." Well, nigga, I do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, Bobby B is coming to this meeting because of some shit that I know that you don't fucking know.
Right.
And then he walks the fuck off. And I was like, my nigga.
Anybody else think something was weird though about speaking of the little birds? That what's his name that stands guard at Ned's door? Jory, is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Does that seem shady a little bit? Like, is he like somebody's little bird or?
That nigga ain't
I don't know.
nobody's.
I was hella suspicious of him until the
that nigga ain't nobody's nothing after a while. Yeah, I'm like
right.
that nigga is none of our concern in a few minutes.
When he told Littlefinger, when he was like, I thought that was you under the bed. Littlefinger wasn't actually present, but who was present was that nigga at the door.
Yeah, man, who knows, bro? I mean, like because but they don't really get into like the actual substance of the conversations. They just see who was going in and out of chambers, and then from there they surmise about what the fuck that they're talking about. Because Varys and Littlefinger know each other so well at this point that, like, nigga, I know what you doing. No, nigga, I know what you doing. Like, right.
So then the conversation between Arya and her father, Ned, takes place, and she says to him, "They said you found like." First, he's kind of like disregarding, like Leslie was saying. Then she says, "They said you found the bastard," and and she said they said that you found the bastard, and the wolves are fighting the lions. At that point, Ned knew she was right, and that nigga really started. His sense of urgency picked up.
Right, kicked in, yeah.
Right.
Hey, do y'all think they knew she was there?
No,
I don't think they knew. I don't think they knew she was there.
No, I don't know, but she ran in there ahead of them. Obviously, they may have seen her run off down there before they came in. We don't know where they came from or what they were doing.
I don't think they would have been having that conversation with her there.
When she's chasing, now, stay with me. So she's chasing the cats. She witnesses this conversation. They go past her because she's hiding in that big dragon head. I don't know which dragon head it is.
That's Valerian.
And this big, and the dragon head, of course, is this big.
Valerian,
and she's hiding behind one of the teeth. And then she has to go out because they went up the stairs that she just came down, but they locked the stairs and she couldn't get out.
Yeah.
And so she had to go out the ass end of the castle. and so she goes out, through the sewer, and she has to come back around. And so when she comes back around to the gate, she's like, "I'm Arya Stark. My father is Hand of the King. And y'all gonna let me in?" And they're like, "Oh, little girl, little boy, your daddy is on the tavern floor drunk somewhere." And she's like, "Yeah, being peed on." And she's like, "I'm Arya Stark. My father is Hand of the King. And am I gonna have to box your ears?"
Right.
And they looked at each other like, "What the fuck?"
Like, goddamn, right? So that was another little thing that took place. A night watchman comes to visit Ned. Can somebody talk about that a little bit?
Yes. I'm sorry.
So there are others riding as well?
Yeah, so this is the guy from Castle Black, Yorick. Okay, so the last time we saw him, he was talking to Tyrion about to come down to King's Landing to go through the dungeons. And so before he leaves Castle Black, he gets some news. And so that's why he rides straight to the castle to Ned. because he tells him that Benjen is missing. Okay, Benjen is Ned's blood brother that we saw in episode 1 when the king arrived. Okay, and was up there at Castle Black. He's the first ranger, and so Yorick mistakes Arya for a boy. He's like, I can tell this is your son. He has the look of you, and she's like, I'm a girl, not a boy, you know. Right. And so we're going to see Yorick again in a very, very important situation in the near future.
And he's also the one to obviously tell him that, like that Catelyn got Tyrion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a meeting that's supposed to take place. Littlefinger tells Ned to meet him. Am I skipping ahead too far? Let me know if I am. I think I need to. Yeah, there's a few things.
Yeah, you missed
when we ran across what's the name? Theon, we do love them hoes, Greyjoy.
Yo, he was like fucking the dogs. Yo, like I was like, God damn, this motherfucker's like
that nigga was like a 1990s music video, R&B. That nigga
had that gas station 3000 in him, boy.
Right.
My boy Theon said he was gonna get his $40 worth.
Oh god.
Pound and ground guy.
Well, get you a wife, young squire, because you're not riding this ride for free.
I'm still not sure the significance of them showing us, him being that, severe simp like that. Like, I don't understand why we need to see him looking bad already. Like, we know how, it's gonna go down, but leave.
And it's just more like dialogue to explain about why the fuck he's just like this lesser than, right? I mean, like this show hit us over the head with the fact that the Greyjoys suck, and that Theon, out of the Greyjoys who suck, he is the fucking suckiest of the
sucker.
We skip over something we need to go back to.
So Robert finds out that Daenerys is pregnant. And he says he wants to kill her and the child. He wants Ned to kill her and the child. He says he's got the 7 kingdoms to rule, and he says that what allows one king to rule is fear and blood. So Jorah was the one that leaked that information, was he not? Jorah Mormont?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
And that's why he freezed on his ass.
So while he's loyal to Dany at some point, like at this point, that's not a very loyal thing of him to do.
Yeah, I mean, but he was trying to get his freedom papers.
Right. And Ned don't fuck with Jorah. So
right. And Ned don't fuck with Jorah because Jorah did some slave shit.
Robert called Ned an honorable fool.
Right, like an honorable fool. Yeah, but what's funny? When Littlefinger was trying to convince Ned of killing Dany, he was like, what he started saying, he was like, when you find yourself in the bed with an ugly woman, and in Varys' reaction, he was like, "Oh my fucking god!" Like, this
right?
He just completely rolled his eyes, like, "Oh my god, this motherfucker's about to say some dumb shit again." Because he was like, "When you find yourself in bed with an ugly woman, it's best to just get it over with."
Right. And so, interestingly, at this point, this is when shit hits the fan. Ned tells Robert, I followed you in the war twice, but I will not follow you now. Robert, I know, didn't tremble at the thought of a child. And Robert says he will have Ned's head on a spike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ned takes that motherfucking pen off and put it in, put the hand of the king. He puts that shit down. And Robert is cussing that motherfucker out like it's a family reunion. So before Cicely Tyson steps in to break it up. So
stop this.
Stop this shit right now, god damn it. Somebody said earlier it's like an uncle when they tell him turn them loose. Turn them loose now. So
turn them loose, really.
So okay, we know at this point Ned understands, like his daughter just told him some shit. He sees like Robert is not letting up on the idea of killing Dany and her kid, and he knows it is crazy. And so this is where we are. Y'all help me out. Pick me up from there.
First of all, we got Mallory Davis in the comments. She said, Ned said, fuck these government benefits. I quit.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's fucking perfect. That's
So
perfect.
For real.
I think at this point, Ned knows, okay, I've given up being the hand. Robert's on a tear. I got to get my kids and get the hell up out of here. So he goes to the crib. He starts packing, and here come that old sly ass Littlefinger.
Yo.
Like he always
show up like, here come this nigga. What you want, nigga?
He comes, hey, look, I got some stuff I need to show you. It's only gonna take an hour. Come on down to my brothel, and I got you. I got
That nigga always trying to get somebody to come to the whole house too.
Right. Right.
What the fuck he be doing?
If Ned wouldn't have stayed, they might have gotten out of there and been all right. But Ned stayed.
Was he holding him there?
I think he knew what he was doing. I really do think he knew what he was doing.
But I think they got the drop on him even easier, because you remember when Arya finally got back to her dad to tell him what she had heard. And the first thing he said to her was like, I got half my security out looking for you. He was already down on, security. And then he want to go out in the streets.
Right.
He want to go down to the house
I wonder
with low security. And
I wonder who gave the drop on Ned that he was in Littlefinger's brothel to Jamie. I wonder who the fuck told Jamie, like, listen, I know you're looking for the nigga because he got your brother. He over there.
That's why I think boy that was with him, the dude that was with him that died out there, I think he like took somebody out before he even went down there.
Yeah.
But he was from the north. That's somebody who was in the north, from the north.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know. He looked like he could be bought because the way he was looking at that hole. He was looking at old girl.
I would have done the same thing. So call me bought.
I got some more information if I can get some of that.
No, he got a little titmatized. He was like,
that.
Right.
Listen. Like fucking Littlefinger was if you would have told me to come by the brothel before I leave, I was like, nigga, I was gonna do that anyway. Hey, bro, I was going that shit. You ain't gotta convince me. I was gonna make a little stop over there anyway before I fucking go back to the north with these fucking with these goddamn these fucking
right here. I already got it set on the GPS.
Oh, I'm gonna do that anyway. Because that's how I am.
He said he gonna look at a titty if he see a titty.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I see a titty, I look. You know what I'm saying? So hey, look, hey.
Titty had him stuck.
And they look back.
Right. So I think in that particular instance, like you got this craziness going on, and I definitely was wondering. I kind of felt like it was Littlefinger.
I kind of felt like
because Littlefinger had said some shit that kind of like when the Lannisters actually got down there, it was something that Littlefinger said that made me be like, wait a minute, is this nigga in on it? And what was it that he said?
I don't remember. I remember he ran out there looking hella theatrical, like, what is the meaning of this? And then he disappeared.
Yo,
Littlefinger said he was calling the city watch.
Oh yeah.
That nigga got on the first plane to fucking Colorado.
God damn.
Come on, I'm going to call 911. No, you didn't.
Jamie said, put your ass back in there, man.
Not a tear was shed. Not a tear was shed. Speaking of, man, I ain't gonna say
gonna be a long joke. That trip to Colorado thing is gonna be a long joke. That's gonna be a joke.
I ain't gonna say nothing. Damn it. Remember the Titans. Remember the Titans. That's all the fuck I got to say about that, man. Remember the damn Titans. What was the name of that damn song and that dance they was motherfucking doing? Sunshine. Damn it.
Sunshine.
All right, we back. So that's what's happening down there. So we kind of skipped ahead because I think we got to go back to this little grown motherfucker sucking on a titty.
Yeah, I was about to
9
say,
years
like,
old.
that's
Yeah.
pretty much the scene, right? It's just like, okay, that motherfucker's crazy. That little nigga sucking on titties, like he's fucking 3 years old, and that's just fucking wild in itself.
Right, he's much too
You know,
old to be. Yeah.
and Tyrion was essentially right, and that cat is seeing the shit with her own eyes, like, oh, my sister is fucking nuts. Wow, okay,
Yeah.
and so like they
Got
throw
this queen on a titty.
Tyrion in the dungeon with the little slow, with the little radio.
Yeah.
Guardsman.
No
He
doubt.
cool though. He cool. Like he just need shit to be explained to him, in a way that you talk to a fucking,
motherfuckers. All right.
But that's it.
Developmental delays.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Right. So he Tyrion is thrown in the dungeon, and
Sky Cell.
Yeah, Sky Cell. So he
which
got
is a
two
dope
choices.
ass concept, by the way, because it leans towards the fucking opening.
Right.
I mean, it's 3 walls and it leans towards that opening shit. And Tyrion wakes up and is like, "Oh, get me the fuck out of here!"
Right. Like nigga, I go take my chances in there with them crazy motherfuckers. And
right.
little crazy titty sucking motherfucker is like, mother, I want to see the little man fly. You know, so it's a lot of.
I will say that. So you see her son as he is now. So by the time we get to season 8 and you see him again, I have to say this now. That is the biggest damn glow up and blow up I have ever seen in a character ever. He don't talk much.
I was about to say, but he ain't say shit, so you don't really know how fucking stupid he really still is.
Which one we talking about?
Right? No, I'm just talking about.
Yeah, like he just matured, like physically. Yeah.
So yeah, that was the biggest damn glow up and blow up I have ever seen.
Oh yeah, that little motherfucker there. That's the one you talking about.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is my ugly ass should have breastfed longer. Is that what you're trying to say to me?
Hey,
well,
maybe.
I don't know your mother, and I wouldn't insult her in that way because I wouldn't insult her as a mother. So wherever you get your breast milk from, maybe you just plenty of people selling online.
You made my day.
Especially if it's Cambodian. Cambodian person.
Why y'all make me act like this?
Hey,
y'all silly, man. Okay. I'm trying to get us back on track, y'all.
So
we got to get to episode 6 sooner or later.
Yes.
Okay. And the other small and the other little small notes that I have personally is that Laura's kind of schooling Renly on what it takes to be a king, right? And kind of drawing blood to make him say, listen, this is just, like, don't be afraid of it. And then proceeds to do, like what they were doing. And then
sword swallower.
There you go. Yeah. Hey.
Oh. I just realized what was said. I'm like, wait a minute, what?
In scene. Yeah. So and then the other one. Scene. Right, and scene. And so then the other one was Cersei and Robert kind of having this real conversation with each other.
I wanted to bring up.
Which I think was dope and was excellently had really good dialogue because they really came to terms with their relationship. And at this moment, I think this was the moment where Cersei was like, you know what? I think I'm going to kill this nigga. I was on the
last little bit of respect go out the window.
Yeah, right. Because they were like, she was like, you know what? I'm seeing some humanity. I was like, nah. You know what? Me and him ain't never fucking with each other. I think I need to get this shit out the way.
Right.
And she mentioned that son again. That she mentioned their first son again. Who? Yeah, we know who that.
They did.
Because Ned, when he went down to the brothel, and that old girl and I had that big head baby. That big head baby with the black hair. You know what I'm saying? It was. It was starting to register with Ned. Then what a child with them is supposed to look like.
Right.
Yeah. And so that just. Well, that's I guess go further into that in the next episode, but yeah, they were talking about the previous child that they had but I think we know who that is.
Robert and Cersei was like, I hate you.
I hate you.
Yo.
It was a good
love the
conversation, and I like how she came to when she asked Robert, you know, you were so in love with girl, I can't remember her name.
Lyanna.
Lyanna. You were so in love with Lyanna. Did I ever even have a chance? And Robert just straight up said no.
No.
And then he asked her, does that make you feel better or worse? And she said, I don't feel shit.
Right. Don't make
Right.
me feel shit. That.
He said, I can't even remember what she looked like. But someone
Right.
took her away from me, and 7 kingdoms couldn't fill the holes.
You know what kind of hurt that'd be? Like, you telling me you can't even remember what they look like. You look
Right.
You let it more than me? Oh, you out of here.
Right.
So, and this conversation just perpetuates the lie of that war, the lie of Lyanna Stark, his love and his machinations of why she, was gone and
Right.
why he didn't get her and all of that.
Right.
So it just continues to perpetuate that lie, which wound up being a war, which was a lie. With,
Right.
just
She said, I felt something for you when we lost our first kid. You ever felt anything for me? He said, not a motherfucking thing. Not a
It ain't long.
motherfucking thing. And so that was pretty much the end of that conversation. I think they sipped the glass, a little wine apiece,
yeah.
and went about their ways.
Yeah.
But there was one more thing that Robert said to Cersei that is going to ring through. He said, your lips are moving, but I hear your father's voice come out.
Oh, hell yeah.
You got
And that's every time she talks. Every time she talks. She talks. So Cersei talks like a man. So and
she talks like Tywin. I mean, she was the one paying attention to Tywin when she was supposed to be playing with dogs. And Tywin even mentioned as much later on in season 2 or 3 when he was having the conversations with Arya. That's like,
right.
Yeah.
So
how Arya reminds him of Cersei.
So then we get to the point where the standoff takes place. Ned is in the brothel to see who Jon Arryn saw. And he sees the little brown hair baby as I think it was Leslie stated. And suddenly the motherfucking jump out on him. With Jamie saying, I'm looking for my motherfucking brother. Where he at? And Ned says, your little punk ass brother was taken by my command. He said, you killed me and your brother is dead. And so Ned was giving Jamie that work when one of the soldiers stabbed Ned in the motherfucking leg. And Jamie was pissed off because he finally had a challenger that was worthy. And I think Ned would have got his ass, to be honest with you. It was looking bad for Jamie early. And and
so Jamie was kind of playing at first, right? And then it's like, oh shit getting real. Like this nigga, I thought I was gonna get his old ass. Nah, this motherfucker came ready.
He thought shit was
Jamie
sweet.
didn't even have his armor on, so he came up in there to have a good time, not a long time, or prime time and not a long time. You know what I'm talking about? And so my fault.
Boy. Hey, listen, boy. Hey.
And pare and rapé and okay. Sorry.
Cersei is showering in a 30-inch late front.
Cersei 30-inch lace.
Oh shit, that is good.
Yo, Addie is like Addie Mama. God damn, you are dropping bombs today.
You motherfucking cooking tonight. Listen.
And so the two main takeaways that I got from that shit was the dichotomy between the Stark men and the Lannister men. That the Lannister men just like a bunch of faceless stormtroopers, whereas the Stark men all were, their faces were uncovered. You knew exactly who they were. Like for the most, these were men that were loyal to Ned Stark, not by money or gold, but by like just like off principle, right? Off the fact that these were like people that grew up together and therefore have had like a certain loyalty towards each other. And so the other thing was that Jory's death was the first death to me personally that made me go, well, wait a minute. Anybody can really get it in this fucking show, because he was the first death to really have like a semblance of character development almost, right? I mean, like we didn't know him that much, but we knew him enough to where when he was killed by Jaime, it was kind of that like initial shocking, right? Because you're like, oh shit, well, he's going to survive because he's one of the good guys. Nah, that motherfucker's gone, and he so that was like the first time in this show that I thought to myself, all right, okay, this is something different, even from what we've been seeing, because even though Bran was pushed out a window, we thought he didn't die. And so a lot of the characters with some character development hadn't been killed off yet. But he was, I think, the first one to really, really get the axe.
Yeah, Ned told Jaime ass, yeah, come on, nigga, I keep that motherfucker thing on me too. And that's what Jaime started to realize before Ned got snaked in the back with the leggy stabby stab. So, that was pretty much how the episode ended. Bringing it to episode 6, it literally starts with Ned awakening in the bed with a bit of a fever, with Robert standing over him, from the a fever from the stab. And so going in it, there's a conversation that begins to take place. Robert and Cersei get into it, and he slaps the shit out of Cersei when she says to him, he should wear the gown and she should wear the armor because Ned wants to go after Jaime for killing his men and stabbing him in the leg. She accuses Ned of having been inside of the brothel. And so y'all talk to me about the dynamics of this scene and the significance. What's going on here?
Well, that nigga summoned Ike Turner then, didn't he?
Oh, yes, he did. I was about to say, I don't condone it, but them like said.
That nigga came from his ankles with that shit. That nigga came from his ankle with that shit, goddamn.
Robert said, "Five take a say to the face."
Bro,
what got me about that shit though was that Robert slapped the shit out of her, and Ned worried about her. Like, nigga, she trying to kill you.
Right. And what you know what though, as Chris Rock said, he should he shouldn't have done it.
Damn
but
it.
I understand.
How ironic is he as the fucking example in this motherfucker?
Also, how the fuck are we to trust Master fucking Parcells bitch ass with Ned's care? Right? Like, I mean, fucking King Viserys and House of Dragon, that nigga died off a damn scratch. Ned got stabbed in the fucking leg. And it's like, I mean, are we sure that he's going to be okay?
This ain't the same nigga that was taking care of.
That's what I'm saying. But like Master Parcell, who was clearly a Lannister motherfucker, like, yes. I mean, for him to be overseeing the care of Ned Stark, that deserved its own like fucking 15-minute subplot episode on its own. Because like I can imagine that nigga just picking at his shit when he was passed out, like, this motherfucker was poison the shit out of this nigga.
So Ned laying his sick ass up there, and he watching the boxing taking place. And so we find ourselves asking ourselves, like, how did Jaime know to go to Littlefinger's brothel? And who is it that says if we don't act, there will be war? Who says that?
Who said what? I'm sorry, I was laughing.
Like who? Bobby?
Someone says if we don't act, there will be war. Is that Littlefinger saying that, or
at the council meeting?
Yeah.
You mean
I might be kicking around. Hey, look.
Yeah. Did somebody say that yet?
Y'all got to understand these my motherfucking sick notes. Then I'm reading.
Powered by Robitussin.
Ned wants to go. Oh, Ned wants to go.
How much milk of the poppy did you have last week?
I had a little taste. Goddamn, I had a little taste. Right. And what's that motherfucking Puff Daddy drink called? I had some of that and some Douce. Ned wants to go to Winterfell. He actually wants to physically go to Winterfell. They know Cat has Tyrion. Robert wants him to send a raven. Robert says, I never loved my brother. the Targaryen girl, Ned tried to warn. What the fuck, man? This shit is confusing. Fuck my notes, man. What the fuck? At some point, you think I'm reading this shit like the motherfucker that get called in class that really can't read that good. But he start, you know what I'm saying? He started reading that shit.
They start fucking up, and everybody like huffing and puffing,
right.
like we ain't gonna never get past this goddamn story.
Right, then you get a motherfucking word like equivalencies or something, and that motherfucker just kind of like move that motherfucker all together.
All right. Let me try to jump in a little bit. So, okay. So the opening scene where it's Ned, Cersei, and Robert in the room. Okay. So this really sets up Ned versus Cersei. Okay. And Robert is just the go-between. And like you said, he ain't going to be there, but tick, 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 15 more minutes. But anyway, so you're starting to see the power struggle because now Ned knows, or he's starting to put together all the information, and Cersei's like, I got to watch out for this bastard because he's about to wreck my shit, you know. Right. And so you that's why there's so much arguing in the room,
even though he still doesn't fucking fully get the thing.
Yeah, but he's starting to put some of the pieces together.
About fucking time. Shit.
Then, you know, Robert's
this nigga read a whole fucking dictionary on goddamn lineage and still didn't figure out the fucking blonde hair fucking babies. Robert. God damn, man. I mean, what's taking you so goddamn long? He should have been told Robert. He told Robert. I mean, he was about to tell. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm
sorry. Hey, just let me say real quick. Real quick. CJ, they tear your ass up in them comments, boy.
Hey, listen, man.
Did you write this in a fever dream?
They can't do me no worse than these motherfucking notes whooping my ass. Look at these notes whooping my motherfucking ass.
Did you write this in a fever dream?
Yo, man, put up that Addy Bobby shit, man. That shit.
What the fuck that say?
God damn. That nigga was fucking
probably.
That nigga had cold sweats, right? That motherfucker.
These motherfucking nose was beating my.
I want to see the penmanship.
I typed these motherfuckers. This time New Roman whipping my ass.
And did you run it through Grammarly so it could be correct?
Yeah, you run it through Grammarly. Grammarly was like, yeah.
Nigga, take here, nigga, here. Shit.
They would skip over to Mordor. Like, nigga,
I don't speak black. Grammarly, like, nigga, I don't speak nigga. I don't.
Hey, let me do it.
I definitely don't speak Mississippi, nigga. Like.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't breathe. Right. I don't get on my nerves.
That nigga watch Lord of the Rings.
Shit.
So Robert tells Ned, you know, here, take this damn pen back before I stomp it on you. Right. I'm going hunting. You gonna sit and do court over the next few days because I hate that shit anyway. Bye. And so Robert goes hunting with Renly, his baby brother, and Sir Barristan Selmy.
Right. And then
and the cupbearer, who is Lancel Lannister. So please remember that name because you're gonna see him again and again and again. He is a Lannister cousin. And what can I say? I'm gonna leave it at that. He's a Lannister cousin.
Yeah, he's slow as
okay.
Fuck, mm-hmm.
So then we jump back to Winterfell with some stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Or do we go to the Vale?
Do it.
I think the next thing that happens is Bran is having that dream.
The dream.
Dream like the motherfucking dream I was having, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
But you seeing 3-eyed ravens?
He saw the 3-eyed raven walk down fly down.
That nigga was saying 3-eyed pit bulls.
And then Hodor busting the motherfucking door and Bran wakes up. Like this the fastest we done seen Bran move since he was falling, you know what I'm saying, from the motherfucker. And so Hodor busting the door with the saddle and he startles Bran, but then he wakes the fuck up.
Right.
So
this was the scene where Bran, where Bran gets kidnapped, or is that after? Wait, is that later?
Later.
It's a little bit later. But it's definitely this episode. Theon encourages Rob to attack for Ned, like to go, like essentially to start the fucking war.
Right.
Yeah.
And Bran, while this is going on, Bran is on the saddle, like he's in the saddle riding in the background at this point in time.
And he's saying whippy and shit. Yeah.
And Rob basically tells Theon, shut the fuck up. This ain't your business.
Right.
This ain't your family. Go sit down someday.
Do what I told you to do. I don't want to hear your thoughts and opinions on what I'm supposed to be doing.
Courtney, that different world shit is hilarious. God damn. Oh, that
CJ was writing those like Freddie wrote the paper on a different world.
Oh my God.
Listen.
They are skewering you tonight, boo.
Hey, listen, man. I can handle it. I can handle it. It skips over to Khaleesi then placing the dragon egg in the fire, and she grabs it with her hands, and she doesn't burn. But one of her, I don't know if you call her handmaiden, thinks that she's burning and reaches in and grabs the damn egg and burns herself. And so, this is taking place and like it's jumping around. Jaime is riding for Castle Rock, and the conversation took place between Rob and Theon, and it's not your duty because it's not your house. Is there any significance there between that conversation that's taking place right there that we should touch on before moving on? Or is it just a conversation that we can?
No, I think it's important because yes, Theon is part of House Stark. He is a ward of the house. He was raised by them since he was 7 or 8 years old. Mm-hmm. So him, Rob, and Jon Snow were raised all together, and while Theon is of a house, of a significant house, he is not of that house. So they are over him. So he always has someone above him in station, and he's always trying to prove his worth to them so that they will, grant him more station or something.
Yeah, which again, they hit over their head so much in this first season. I didn't realize how much they were always checking that nigga. And they give full dialogue and full background on some shit that honestly, I was like, okay, after the fucking third episode, I was like, okay, I get it. I get it.
I don't like that.
He's beneath them.
But it goes to the pattern of behavior that goes into other parts of the storyline.
Yeah, later down the line. Yeah.
And some of the why, because I'm of a great house too. So really? Not so great, but okay, you go with that with your delusional self. But the
Greyjoys. The fucking meth lab of Westeros.
I think the phrase kind of might got something to say about that shit.
Yeah, okay. The phrase of the fucking fentanyl fucking restaurant.
Yeah, them motherfuckers is something else. So, all right. After that conversation takes place, all of a sudden, Bran, little motherfucking ass, is hard. They can't find this nigga nowhere. How do you lose a motherfucker who can't walk on a goddamn horse? Yeah, how do you lose this motherfucker? But anyway, they lose this motherfucker, and Theon replies, "I don't know, nigga. It's not my house. Remember?" And suddenly I guess it's wildlings that attack Bran.
So this is our first encounter with actual wildlings that are alive.
The free folk.
So y'all feel that set that scene for me. Help me understand what's going on there and why is that important?
Were those wildlings or were they just loose people? I don't understand. Right, they're just loose people, and they know old boy from the wall. What's
Yeah, so
Mance Raider.
Mance
Yeah.
Raider is quote the king of the free folk, but that includes the wildlings and a whole bunch of other people that he's tried to organize, let's say over the last 25 years to get to be cohesive. And so now
like
that
trying to get south of the wall, of course.
Malcolm X
and
of the
so-
Seven Kingdoms, or
no, so now they've gotten through the wall. So maybe they swam around, maybe they took a boat around. I don't know.
I got the impression they were running, and running from the White Walkers specifically, because they were like,
"Yo, real dirty
south. We need to steal some shit that's gonna get us some money so we can get further south to get away from this shit." One of them brings up Mance Raider, the other one's like, "Man, fuck Mance Raider. I'm trying to get up out of here."
Right, exactly. Fuck that shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to get south of the wall because of the White Walkers, and that's essentially what this scene is ultimately about. Is to remind us that there's this like threat that is looming, and that not enough people know about it, but some people do. And you're getting more and more whispers about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they try to get Bran off his horse because, of course, the horse is worth something. And he's like, I can't get off the horse. I can't walk. And they, see the braces and how he's attached to the saddle. And they start cutting it off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
so then,
like, what you gonna do about this kid?
Rob kills a whole bunch of them motherfuckers, and Theon shoots one of them motherfuckers in the back, and they keep the lady alive. Is there any significance to them keeping her alive?
Yeah, she comes into play later, doesn't she?
Yeah, she comes into play in the middle seasons. And if you recognize the actress, she is Nymphadora. She's Tonks from the Harry Potter series.
Oh, she is. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Listen, that's a good ass call. I did not recognize her.
Yeah, like, but not only is she pivotal, but she's also, just like Celeste said, but it also goes to speak about how the Starks carry themselves, right?
Yeah.
And they're really and truly honorable people who don't kill unless they have to, unless it's like their duty to kill.
So that's, again, to me, going back to the first episode when them fighting the wolves and shit, like a lot of the little decisions that they make like this, at some point, like they make some decisions that are going to not be in their favor in the
long run.
In the long run for the Game of Thrones, but they also make some small decisions that seem insignificant or not that significant at the time that they're made, that play a major role in the long run too.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's why I wanted to
and it goes to that loyalty thing, just like I was talking about in the previous episode with Ned's men, right? It's about that loyalty, and they are loyal to each other, sometimes to a fault, like we've talked about, especially these first few seasons where they take L after fucking L. But then you're right, CJ, the long-term effects come off to pay big dividends for them at the end.
Yeah. So Tyrion now is calling more, and he like, man, I got some motherfucking gold for your ass, baby. Listen, get me up out this motherfucker. He was like, you want to leave? Leave. And he shows him the edge of that motherfucker, right?
More
and
that nigga ass.
Tyrion's like, no, I don't want to be like that. He like, my gold ain't here, nigga. Like, I got they got my wallet outside. So if you just let me go outside, I go get my motherfucking wallet and get you some gold. This is probably I think this is when I really started getting into Game of Thrones, this episode, the first time around. So Tyrion basically, this is the setup for him to get out and at least go to trial. So he's not quite there yet, but he's making the moves necessary to convince, as Leslie explained earlier, Mord, who needs to be spoken to in a way that is simple enough for him to understand and understand how he can, make it happen.
Essentially, you got to talk to the nigga like he Herschel Walker, right? You just got
to, pretty much, like exactly. You got to speak werewolf to that motherfucker.
There's a wolf, there's a lion, there's a fucking touchdown, and and like nigga go boom. Right?
You got to speak to that nigga in werewolf, exactly.
He's like, you heard
Getting
the
rid of the fucking
werewolf?
incense.
I'm the werewolf.
So while this is all going on, Arya's continuing her practice with Syrio, and
Yes.
he talks to her about her troubles. Celestial is the one of the wordsmiths here. You want to talk about? He said, "Trouble is the perfect time for training.
Mhm.
You're not here. You're with your trouble. You're with your trouble when the fighting happens. If you're with your trouble when the fighting happens, that's more trouble for you.
Mhm.
How can you be quick as a snake or as quiet as a shadow when you are somewhere else?"
I like that Serial because he is always teaching when he's with Arya. It always sounds like he's speaking in platitudes to her, but he's always teaching her. No matter what he's saying to her, he's giving her tidbits. And as we know, she puts all of that into play later. But the one line he says, which does then come back later, we know, is when he says, "There's only one Lord, and that's death. And what do we say to death? Not today."
Not today.
And so he gave her that piece of we didn't realize then how important
That line still hits, man. That line.
Right.
Still hits.
Person just be dropping the knowledge.
And he's saying all of this while he's teaching her swordplay. He's taking her sword from her. He's maneuvering and he's doing all of this while he's dropping these gems. So I really was fond of Syria, and I like the way that he handled Arya. And he never treated her like she was a girl. He just was teaching her how to fight.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Like Arya, I think lived by, that motto stuck with her clearly. We jump to the scene where Khaleesi is eating a fucking horse heart. Ooh, that was a hard scene.
I've been waiting on us to get to them androgynous ass niggas. The
Go ahead, TK.
They just a bunch of pretty boys with plaits. What's
she gotta eat? She gotta eat that horse.
Yeah,
heart.
like she's sitting here eating a whole heart. They talking about this nigga talking about the stallion that's gonna mount the world, and they batshit crazy. Let me just start with that shit. The niggas strolled off.
Get me right. I love the comment section. Oh my god!
Right, Sherry is tripping me out over here. She said, "I don't even know them dudes. They just gave me a ride."
That's what the comments be worse than us, dog.
And we're breathing.
Everybody can motherfucking get it. We can get it. The characters can get it. My bad, TK. I'm over there tripping out.
No, like man, that whole scene, she eating a heart, and she ate the bitch like a champ, dog, and they cheering her on and shit, and you see Viserys, he in the corner looking like Otto, hating this shit. He mad as hell, like dog, that the end of that scene was so satisfying to me. Like,
yeah, because of
right, it damn near ranks up there with Joffrey later on down the line.
Oh yeah.
It definitely was. It definitely was.
Yeah, because he was a hater. He was a hater, and to see this woman that he had basically done whatever he wanted to do to, and talked to like she wasn't nothing, and basically sold her off to these people now to be revered, and they're calling her queen, and she's bringing this prince into the world. He feel away, and then he tries to steal the eggs.
Like them niggas in they tent, right? They having a rave and shit. It's techno music playing, and they popping X and doing all this crazy shit.
Some Aztec sacrificing type shit.
Yeah. He over in the corner, he mad as fuck. And, they calling her queen, and my boy lost it.
Yeah.
Like and like you said, Celeste, this somebody he sold off. Not only did he sell off, he followed her with it and beat her ass while after he sold off. Like, he treated her like shit.
Yep.
And now he got a goddamn frog in his throat because she made the best out of it.
Shit, nigga. Like, I mean, you know, like when she was eating those fucking chitlins, that nigga was like, I can't stop that. He was like,
right. They were watching Fear Factor.
That's the same thing I do. That's the same thing I do with my fucking auntie be eating them shits. I'd be like, man, y'all niggas got it.
Yeah, wow.
Oh my god, nigga, I respect the fuck out of
no fucking chilling. Sorry. All right, y'all niggas got it. Right. You get the fuck out of here.
Oh shit, nigga. God damn.
You know, like ass in here anyway.
Man. Oh my god. But that shit is so fucking accurate though. And then she heaved it up a little bit, but still kept it down like she like realized at some point she eating a whole goddamn horse heart. I'm like, is that a motherfucking aorta on this motherfucker?
Yeah.
So she eat that motherfucker and she said, she held that motherfucker down and Viserys like, ain't nobody ever cheered for me in my motherfucking life like this.
Dang, he was just hating out loud at that point. Like he didn't even care. Like, hey, nigga, we see you hating like this. He was just like, oh, they love her. Let me go steal these eggs.
Right. Let me go steal these eggs. And then the whole showdown between him and Jorah. Which I'm still like, I can't remember who said that before. About like how he seemed like he was loyal to her, but he's still snitching to Westeros. Throat goat. Oh god.
Well, Addie mama, you wild as fuck.
Right. Get out.
Woo!
Is throwing. She's throwing haymakers.
Oh my god. Woo!
And did.
That's 25 points for Gryffindor for that last one, Addie Mama. 25 points for Gryffindor, damn it.
Listen, I'm talking about, man, y'all is wilding tonight, man. Y'all fucking wilding.
I can't even finish my statement. I don't even remember what I was saying.
Sorry.
Throat Golden just said, God damn. Like, damn, dog. We done went from killers to throat goats. And so that's a hell of a transition.
Oh,
and so
Celestial, I think what you might have been going on between Viserys and Jorah is that you're starting to see Jorah really fall in love with her. And that's why he's like, you can have her. I don't want her. I just want the eggs. I'm going to get on out of here. I'm going to buy me an army and I'm going to go get my throne back. And then we're going to see who's what.
I'm going to tell you what that shit reminds me.
All he wanted was the honey. What I want is the money.
Right. That nigga.
Thank you, Bishop Don Magic Wand.
That shit reminded me of every time.
You know why, Leslie? We broke.
Baby.
It reminded me
this
of when.
Is why I can't with y'all.
It reminded me of when three niggas try to go to a motherfucking white club and they decide you can't get in that motherfucker with them tennis shoes on. That's how Jorah was blocking his ass.
Right.
Like, nah.
Yeah, nigga, you can't get it
right there, buddy.
Get your
are those shoes you're wearing, nigga? Like, you can't get in here with shoes on. Like,
right. Not what you, chief.
So that's what that shit reminded. So Jorah said,
you got that Targussy. Targussy is back. Oh man.
So
Targussy is back.
So
hey, you know what? We should have coined that phrase, dog.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
That's
it's
wild.
too late.
Not too late.
They ain't lying. It shouldn't be.
Shit.
Yeah, we should have coined that shit. But anyway, go ahead, CJ. My bad, man.
Now you all good. So, after the whole standoff with that shit, they jump back over to Mord and Tyrion. Tyrion makes the bargain with Mord, and suddenly he gets to stand before Cat crazy ass sister name who escaping me right now.
Lysa Aaron.
Right. And the titty sucking boy. And so she's standing and they say, okay, now you have to confess your sins. Anybody want to talk about Tyrion's confessions? Because them motherfuckers was funny to me.
Yo, Tyrion was wild, bro. That shit was like fucking Meg and Tory, man. That like
Bro.
trial of the
Yeah,
century,
he
right?
shot up the suit.
Trial of the fucking
Nigga.
century.
Nigga, when that nigga said,
Bravo.
I just realized what this nigga said.
Fucking
like,
Meg,
whoa, whoa,
goddamn.
whoa, whoa.
God, dog.
When that nigga said that ill shit, that shit
Yes.
was like that shit was like fucking Meg's friend taking a stand, nigga. That shit, I mean, like blown away.
That nigga said, I
was
made the
poetry,
bald man cry. I milked the one-eyed eel in some turtle soup. And I believe my sister ate it.
Or at least
I hope she did.
Like, oh boy.
And Bronn was in the back laughing. Bronn was in the back cracking up.
still got in a jab
Bro,
on fucking Cersei.
That is when I started watching Game of Thrones for real. That was the scene that I was like, oh, I like this motherfucker right here. Like
Cersei was 1,000 miles away and caught a fucking stray, bro. Like
that nigga said, at least I hope she did. And
still
so,
got it out for that motherfucker.
So when he said that shit, bro, like I was like, okay, this is my show now. I'm watching this shit every fucking time it comes on. And so he's you know, they're making a decision on how to go about having this trial. And obviously, you know, they initially were just going to not even fucking allow him to be heard.
Right.
They were just gonna throw his ass out the motherfucking moon.
The moon
door.
Right, out the moon door. And
side door.
he like, man, look, this is a part of the fucking realm. I get to fucking have a trial just under the laws of the kingdom. And so at that point in time, y'all break down how that shit went. How did the
and so Tyrion is always doing calculations in his head, right? And he's looking at these two crazy motherfuckers, especially Robin. And he's like, I'm not getting any justice here, right? And this is going to come back later, obviously, when he stands trial for killing Joffrey. But you know, he's doing the calculations in his head, and it's like, okay, well, the best chance I have is to do a trial by combat, right? And when he proclaims that defense, in his head, he's thinking about, okay, well, shit, I got Jaime, and then fucking, of course, that turns out to be kind of useless because they said that, well, Jaime is fucking doing God knows what, so whoever is going to fight on your behalf has to be here. Now, they didn't calculate the fact that niggas love what? Money.
Money.
And Tyrion is like, I got money. So which one of you motherfuckers wants to fight to get fucking rich? And little do these because these fuckers are crazy and a little slow, they don't realize that money fucking rules all, goddamn it. And that's when Bronn was like,
Right. He was like, I ain't got no problem with him.
That's
I'm not
my
gonna
nigga.
stand here and let you throw this little bag of money down the garbage chute.
I got you, brother. I got you, brother. But you know what though? And Bronn has been making calculations already that I want to keep this little nigga alive.
Right.
like me and him can go places.
Because they said a Lannister always pays his debts at least 4 times in this episode.
Right, I was going to say,
Yeah.
they said that 17 times or something. Like,
Right.
okay, damn.
I'm telling you.
So I guess Bronn was thinking about that shit like, shit. nigga.
Between that and rich as a Lannister,
Right.
as Tyrion would say.
Goddamn more ass. Like, nigga, I got money.
So he says,
Oh, that's
shit,
Tell them what I want you to tell them, and I will pay you. Shit.
Go.
So, like you said, Bronn volunteers for to stand in for Tyrion, and some motherfucker, I think it was the motherfucker that was refusing to let them into the gate at first.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was him that steps in for Cat, and you know, Bronn proceeds to beat that motherfucker ass, and like
A fucking rope-a-dope. That's what he did.
Right.
He did rope-a-dope.
right,
Tired his ass out, right? You
made
know,
him run around without that goddamn armor on.
without all that armor on. And Bronn, if fucking Lysa ass was like, you don't fight with honor. He was like, well, that nigga did.
That motherfucker won't be in rush hour too. Shit. Shit. That motherfucker won't be in rush hour 2. That's what the fuck Bronn told her. And like, you know, it is what it is. At that point, Tyrion said, "I'm finna go the fuck him," and he got the fuck up out of there.
Wait, he got his coin back first. He was like, I believe you got something belong to me.
Yeah, run me my motherfucking money.
Run me my money.
That shit to Mort.
I'm out.
Tyrion walked out that motherfucker like, get me out this country, motherfucker.
Like the nigga with the that was the newsman.
Yeah, get the fuck out this country ass town. Bugs flying in my face.
Hey, Sherry Gilchrist in the comments said Bronn was tired of working them temp jobs. He wanted a 9 to 5 with a 401k in medical.
Right. That nigga said, "Hey, look, nigga."
He looked at Tyrion and was like, "All right."
Definitely get paid.
Yeah,
that nigga was ready to. He was ready to make some runs. So he was like, "Shit, let's do it." So after the whole trial takes place and everything, Robert is out on the hunt with his brother and the Lannister boy. I be forgetting that Lannister boy name.
That's Lancel.
Lancel. Yeah. Why? How the fuck I forget that? That's like, yeah. But anyway, yeah.
Cersei was knocking him down too, huh?
Yeah. She groomed him too. What? So when Jamie wasn't acting right, she was.
She motherfucking Mary Kay Letourneau, ain't she?
This is a nasty.
I did not know Cersei was fucking that motherfucker too.
Yeah, because she fucking uses him later. She uses him later with it.
And then he comes obviously later down the line when he's a part of the fucking the Faith military.
Right, the motherfucking Sparrow motherfucker. Yeah, so I remember that's when I thought that was the first of that nigga. I don't remember him at all. Sorry to this.
Well, no, like because you remember in season 2, Tyrion. You said what?
This man.
I don't know. I don't recognize that nigga.
By the way, all these fucking names are fucked up. Like Celeste's point, all these fucking names are fucked up. Like I was just calling fucking Bronn as Bran for 5 minutes in the fucking first 20 minutes of the goddamn show.
We knew who you were talking about.
You know, Bronn and Bran and all that shit. Viserys fucking Varys. I kept wanting to call Varys Viserys so fucking bad. I mean, you know.
So
well, ain't neither one of them got a dick, so what you gonna do?
Golly. Listen, the choppers are being unleashed tonight. Right. They let the motherfucking choppers sing out here tonight. And so
so one thing about that, it's one quick matter about that boar hunt. This is what I was reading about this shit. Apparently, this is George R.R. Martin's least favorite scene. And the reason why is because a royal boar hunt is supposed to be exactly what we saw in that House of Dragon episode, back when there was an actual royal hunt. And so the House of Dragon made sure to correct that when they did that episode. That was like specifically like for George R.R. Martin to say, listen, I want y'all to go on a real royal hunt. Because when Bobby B was going out with like him and like two or three niggas, like they ain't that's not accurate.
That's not what it is.
Right.
Was back in those days. So apparently George R.R. Martin was very dissatisfied with this.
That was like the scene that Papa Was a Rolling Dragonstone, TK was talking about with the fight scene, the I'm gonna get you sucker fight scene. So
right.
Clearly them niggas budget was not popping the first season. So y'all gonna get the motherfucker. This the best thing. This the best we got right now, goddamn it. So,
hey, you can't have champagne taste with a big budget, baby. And that's what they had.
Little bunch of
how you do, Leslie?
I'm broke, baby.
So the boar hunt is taking place and shit like that. The one brother gets mad because Rob talking about fucking women, and his brother starts going off on him and shit. And
really storms off. Yeah.
Right. He storms off. Talk about the Ned is standing in on the Iron Throne at this point because Robert basically assigned them like sit your crippled ass here and listen to these motherfuckers as they come in and complain. Dude from the Riverlands comes in and says they burnt almost everything of ours. They weren't thieves. They didn't steal anything, but they left behind fish. And it was one man who was leading them that was taller than anyone by a foot. He cut a head of a horse off with a single blow. Why is this
Where have
significant?
we
What is
seen
they
that
talking
before?
Yeah. So that we know that the mountain is out raping and reaving and raging across the land. And
essentially doing what he does best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't fly any sigil. They didn't, it wasn't anything prepared. They just went and rolled over these people, and the man was like, they killed all the men and then they raped the women and then they raped them again. And I was like, well damn.
yeah, that's crazy.
Which is the calling card of the mountain that we're going to kind of found out, I guess, give more dialogue to later on in the show. Yeah.
Shorty got no scruples. He's terrible.
Yeah. So no, he just mad. He's just raging, and the rage is not subsiding. So, Ned, after hearing all of the story, makes the decision to, strip him of his title, strip him of his lands. He is now an outlaw, and if you see him, kill him. And so the person that he calls up is Beric Dondarrion. Now, that is significant because Beric Dondarrion is alive. So in House of the Dragon, we encountered the Dondarrion house as one of the major houses. Here, they are still a major house. Mm-hmm. And Lord Beric, who is the head of the Dondarrion house right now, he's like, I need you to get your men. I need you to get them together and go get the mountain, go to his stronghold, go to his castle or wherever he lives, and kill him because he's under a death warrant now. And so the next time that we see Lord Dondarrion, he's gonna look a whole lot different.
Oh yeah,
right. Let me just say that nigga got the best name in the whole show.
That is cold.
He sounds like a Jamaican rapper.
that nigga got a cold. He got a cold weapon too. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
So he actually one of the cooler characters at the end of the day.
And so not only did Ned,
go ahead, you got it.
Sentence the mountain to death, but he also summoned Tywin to court, which Littlefinger immediately proceeds to say, "Niggas, you stupid!" You just fucking what you just gonna say? Okay, the richest person in the Seven Kingdoms, you just gonna summon him to court and make him answer for his crimes. By the way, neither one of them niggas got the memo from Ned because by the time the memo got out, Ned wasn't there no more anyway. But I just find that scene to be kind of hilarious. Is that Ned is thinking that he has this ultimate power that people are just abide by, and Tywin will look at that shit and you literally use it as toilet paper. If someone were to approach him talking about some Ned Stark wants you to come to court, nigga, please.
They'd be like, okay, let me check my calendar. I'm a little busy that day. Tell him I get back to him 6 months from now.
And just like Celeste said, right? Who the fuck is gonna try to kill the mountain? Who was the first nigga to run up on him? I want to know that motherfucker.
I would have been like, no, I'm good.
They said 100 men. Okay, I want to know who the first, because I'm not that nigga.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
I'm number 99.
Nigga say I am not that heroic, nigga. I can't nigga. Shit, nigga. I'm finna go where
two, goddamn, out of 100.
I'm finna go to where goddamn Christian Cole was trying to take motherfucking Rhaenyra ass. Goddamn.
Oh my God.
With the Venus passion fruit and papayas or whatever it is.
I am done with this night shit at that point. Like fuck it. If y'all find me, goddamn,
still alive.
You can have my motherfucking head. I saw what that motherfucker did to that horse, nigga. I'm not a horse. So you know what I mean? I CP, I leave. So so that's the way I look at that shit. But after this takes place, like y'all said, that goes on, and Sansa is becoming more and more like the Lannisters at this point. Joffrey brings her a necklace, talks some pimp shit to her real quick, said he'll never hurt her again. Obviously, that's a goddamn lie.
Right.
And I think it was his mom that told him to do this, right? Like a couple episodes ago. Say some sweet shit to
Right.
her. The hooker is leaving on the back of a turnout car. My bad, Roz is leaving on the back of a turnout car.
Like she moving from Mississippi to Houston.
Yeah, and Theon say, let me see that sweet pussy one more time.
I'm moving from Mississippi.
Let me just see that motherfucker one more time.
She moving from Mississippi to Atlanta. Yeah, so she going to Atlanta.
Right. She fixing to turn up. You know what I'm saying? She will be at the Gold Room next week. And
that's right.
But Theon said, before you let that thing go, before you let it go, let me see that thing one more time. And she let him see a little piece. And told that nigga good luck, nigga, after that.
Yeah.
Get to both of
them. Ned says he's sending the girls back to Winterfell. The girls don't know how much danger they're in. Arya corrects Sansa when Sansa is saying that the lion is not Joffrey's sigil. He's a stag like his father. And that's when the fucking light finally goes off for this nigga Ned.
Fucking about time. So, like, a couple little small points about this fucking thing.
Okay.
This shit was hilarious. Like for one, when Ned finally comes up in there, limping his ass in there, like Arya was like, "Oh shit, you finally dying because of your leg," and Ned was like, "What the fuck, nah?" Like, I'm not fucking dying. The other shit, which I found fucking hilarious, is that when Sansa dumbass was like, "You know, I'm going to be the queen and I'm going to have his babies," Arya was like, "Oh, 7 hells."
Yeah. You don't shut the fuck up, girl. With your goof ass. Like, just shut up. Just your goddamn ass up. Shit.
God damn.
She definitely
goddamn thing.
Yeah. Sansa was easy to dislike early, man.
Yeah. And you can tell, like, her and Arya, like, I mean, they were just, man, this first season, they did not fuck with each other at all. And even when they were like apart and missing and shit like that and going their separate ways, even the rest of the season, you didn't really hear like Sansa like say, "Man, I miss Arya," or "Arya, I want to get back to Sansa. I want to rescue Sansa." You ain't hear none of them niggas talking about
right. What Sherry said, "I don't want someone brave. I want Joffrey," and Sansa laughed at that shit. I mean, Arya laughed at that shit like, "Yeah, you goddamn right. That's the fuck you want."
Sansa was playing the role of a boy crazy teenage girl too well. Like, it was getting on my damn nerves. Yeah. Like, I wanted to ground her.
I did not. I mean,
go to your tower.
I ain't trying to jump ahead.
That sounds like my future.
At some point, I obviously feel sorry for Sansa, but I don't think I actually cared for Sansa until sometime after the Battle of the Bastards.
Sansa, the one redeeming quality that Sansa ended up having was that she started to think like Littlefinger. Littlefinger was the one who really trained her up.
That was her
how
trainer.
The world works, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you know what? Like, I guess that's a theme that's gonna be reoccurring for each of the Stark younger the daughters throughout is they both have their mentors that train them up into what it is that they ultimately become. Yeah. So that is like, I really enjoy watching Arya's journey with her respective mentors. But sorry, I didn't mean to get us off on a tangent. We trying to wrap this motherfucker up. So Viserys walks into the Dothraki tent after trying to steal the motherfucking eggs and all that shit. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Go back. After Arya said the shit about Joffrey not being a lion, he's a stag like his father. All the Baratheons have black hair in the history of the motherfucking shit. Ned goes and looks through the goddamn book and sees that Joffrey is not a Baratheon because he's got blonde hair, and he's literally the first man in his line to have that. So that's the last time we see them that episode. Viserys walks into the Dothraki tent drunk and puts a blade at Khaleesi's belly and says he wants what he came for. He wants the crown he was promised.
Golden crown.
Khal Drogo said, "All right, my nigga."
You got it.
They snatched his motherfucking funky ass up. He take off his motherfucking chains.
Sacrifice
Take
a
off
belt
chains,
or whatever.
CJ. But before you get to that part,
Uh-huh.
that shit with Khal Drogo was wild as fuck, right? Now this nigga been speaking Dothraki the whole show. All of a sudden he was like, "You are no king." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like
And it kind of
He probably was studying with Khaleesi, like, "Hey, teach me how to say you ain't no motherfucking king."
It made me think like, you know what I'm saying? Like you go to the nail shop, you go to the corner store, and they don't speak no English until you start with the money. Then they shit please goddamn
right, nigga, you short.
Right.
Like
nigga, you sure, homie?
$5 more, my nigga.
$5 just for
$5
you.
more motherfucking dollars.
Go ahead.
So look, like Tyra said, like Khal Drogo, like, look, nigga, I see you over there acting up, cutting up. So I tell you what, hey, tell Lele them, grab this little motherfucker real quick, take him over here so I can get him his motherfucking crown.
Right.
He then proceeded to give him a Big Red style of letting this nigga know that his office hours are from 9 to 5. And so that nigga takes his big ass chain off. Like the Dothrakis are clearly the motherfucking niggas of the 7 kingdoms right now. And so he takes off a big ass chain and throw it in the motherfucking. That's got to be some hot ass fire.
Yeah, I was about to say, bro, that shit melted that gold too fucking fast, dog.
Right.
There's no goddamn way a campfire that fucking hot.
And he proceeds to pour the melted gold onto Viserys' head,
right?
Hot as fuck. And then Khaleesi, remember Khaleesi, who had touched the fire earlier this episode and didn't burn, says to him, "He is no dragon."
And that's when she just became super dismissive of it. Like that was the moment where she was complete. I mean, it's crazy because the moment he got killed was the moment that she was like done with him.
Yeah,
Right.
she was like, whatever.
That's when she realized all this time I've been
survive that
listening
shit.
to a non-dragon.
She says he is no dragon. Fire cannot kill a dragon. And to be quite honest with you, I believe that shit the whole. I thought all them motherfuckers couldn't be killed with fire, but I forgot about his stupid ass.
But to his credit, if somebody poured some hot ass gold on Khaleesi, I don't know. Come on now,
that motherfucker might be.
She might just have a permanent bracelet. I don't know.
I don't know.
All
I know is we gonna discover some shit soon. I guess it's the season 2 or 3. I don't remember when the fuck that shit happened, but
So the most satisfying thing was him hitting the floor and that thud.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
so
was definitely
the first time that I cheered when somebody died because that motherfucker deserved it.
He did. He deserved all of that.
Yeah, he was definitely like. I would imagine if that nigga lasted 2 or 3 more seasons, like Joffrey would have been a close second most dislikable. Like
I probably would have stopped watching it if he left.
He was cartoonishly
right. Yeah, like
that nigga was outrageous.
Yeah,
that nigga character, they was still trying to find their footing, man, because he just wasn't it.
Yeah, that nigga was outrageous.
He was just completely out of place. I don't know if it was his acting or what. But
it was probably his acting a little bit.
Yeah, he was terrible.
Yeah.
I hate the character.
Him, they succeeded.
I'm glad he fucked around and found out real soon.
And that was
maxed out at 10.
That was the end of episode 6. And so how many more episodes we got left this season?
It's 10 episodes. So we got 7 and 8 next time, and then 9 and 10 together.
Okay. So we got 4 more episodes. Are we coming back next week? We coming back on Christmas?
No.
No, so niggas, we taking us a motherfucking break, nigga. Nigga, we taking us some motherfucking PTO. So
hey, I don't even live here. I'm making decisions. No, we are not.
Right now, nigga. We are singing in my mind next week. Goddamn it, we singing in my mind. All motherfucking day we watching Christmas movies and listening to some motherfucking music and drinking hot chocolate and goddamn. Do y'all niggas drink eggnog?
No,
I
have never.
Hell yeah.
I drink
Y'all
egg.
drink I have never drank that shit before.
It's so
I-
good.
y'all some audacious
It's
niggas,
the
man.
it's the egg part that be
You
throwing
gotta
me
put
off.
rum in
It's
it.
good. Just try it.
Put
The
enough
egg part
alcohol
just-
in there. Don't worry about the other
Because
ingredients.
I just
Yeah.
don't understand
No,
like a motherfucker saying, "Oh, you know what I want?
I tell you
Some
what.
eggs and some fucking liquor, like some eggs and liquor,
The
nigga."
breakfast of
Like,
champions.
oh,
It's good.
and
What-
What
cinnamon.
type of eggs you talking about, CJ?
What y'all need to get with is
Hey.
some coquito.
Yeah, that Puerto Rican eggnog or whatever. it
Yeah,
was.
see.
It's fire.
Coquito. What the fuck?
There
is
you go.
coquito?
Celeste
Look.
Williams, yeah, that's what's up.
You
Oh,
know
y'all
what's
be
up.
drinking,
You know
drinking.
what's up.
God damn.
Y'all catch up.
I used to live in Tampa. Yeah.
So listen, CJ. Let me just say this, make it real clear for everybody. So next week is Christmas. We ain't gonna be here for Christmas.
Murrah
And
Crummer.
the week after that is New Year's. So that's New Year, y'all, not New Year's. Just throw that.
It's both of them. Shit.
You know how we do it. But we won't be here for that either. So, basically this is it for us for 2022. So
2022, man. Hey, we came through in 2022, man. This shit, it's been motherfucking real, y'all. It's been great. It's been a hell of a year for us as a Watch Them Thrones, like as a podcast. So I mean, we expect to come back stronger. I think we're gonna drop some dope shit for you on YouTube over the break. Isn't that right, Tyrus? Or am I right? Or
yeah, so what I'm working on now for season 1, I'm gonna do it for every season. We're gonna have our top 5 or top 10 fucked around and found out moments of the season, and we're gonna break each one of those down. So
yep.
And you first.
And we're gonna come back longer and stronger.
Oh, God.
We coming back longer and stronger in 2023. So
Y'all,
We taking on gas station pills? What's
we doing a little something, man. Hey, when we come, we coming correct. Goddamn, you know what I'm talking about.
I'm like, we coming. Hashtag we coming.
Y'all motherfucking niggas have a Merry Christmas, nigga. Merry Christmas,
fam.
And a Happy New Year. We will be back in 2023. And y'all keep y'all motherfucking noses clean until then, man. No milk of the poppy for y'all niggas. Love y'all motherfuckers. Peace. We out. Think black, live black, unapologetically. And bye-bye. Hey, she says she fuck with her for real. We fuck with you too, Ebony Reed. How you lead this motherfucker, y'all? God damn.
I really do want to know though. Leave studio.